I'm Christoph. I'm 30 years old and coming from the little German town of Herford. But I embarked on an adventure throughout the world, having traveled now over 160 countries in the last 7 years. First as a backpacker, then with many other means of transport by air and now by sea.
Why did you buy a sailing catamaran?
I always dreamed of living on the sea. I've traveled to a lot of countries by plane, and I rented a lot of boats or went on a lot of boat trips. But to the nicest places on earth you can actually just get with your own boat. So that was one idea, just be able to go everywhere you want with a proper sailing boat you can live on. And but also due to the situation in the moment, which where flying with a plane is not that nice, so having your own boat gives you much more freedom.
Did you always want to become a sailor?
I didn't really want to become a sailor in the beginning. I always wanted to become an explorer. But the sailing idea only crystallized in my head the last couple of years. I basically at first had the idea to travel every country of the world by plane and then buy my own boat. But due to the pandemic, I basically said to myself, now I can't travel that much by plane anymore anyway, and now I have time to actually buy a boat and do the bureaucratic process and use the boat a lot. So that's basically why I just put it on my agenda last year.
Was this your first Atlantic crossing?
No, this was my second Atlantic crossing, but it was the first Atlantic crossing on a little boat. I mean, it's not so little, it's still 12 meters long, but obviously not as long as a 200-meter cruise ship. I went on the Nomad Cruise 7 from Barcelona to Recife. Now went on my own Nomad Cruise 2.0 with the SYS Staatenlos from Mallorca to João Pessoa, so basically the same distance.
What other sail trips do you have in mind for the future?
Oh, we want to explore a lot of the world with the Staatenlos. So we explore all the Caribbean. I'm really looking forward actually a trip along the east coast of the United States and Canada into the Great Lakes and down the Mississippi. That's very nice with this boat because this is the only boat which can sail under most bridges in the United States. And then of course we explore the Pacific, the Indian Ocean. And at some point, maybe in 10 years, I already have in my mind how we come back sailing to the port where it all began in Croatia.
Do you feel cracking borders while you are sailing around the globe in times of COVID?
I think sailing is an illusion for many people. It gives you a lot of freedom, but it's not the freedom you think you have. When you enter a country, you still have very bureaucratic procedures. You have to go to immigration, to customs, to the harbor master. And countries can prohibit you to come. They cannot prohibit you to just navigate around and just anchor outside of a bay. That's actually what we just did in Fernando de Noronha. We weren't allowed to land, but we were allowed to anchor and no one disturbed us. And we had a great time there swimming with so many dolphins. And even because of that, you can still have a lot of freedom when sailing. But to enter a country, to actually set your foot on land, then you might have the freedom not anymore. So it's always depending on what you want to achieve with sailing and whatnot.
Your sails are transporting the message of taxation is theft and liberty or death. What can you tell us about this?
Yes, the boat is called SYS Staatenlos, and that's basically in English translation means Staatenlos means stateless, and that's the name of my business for the last 6 years. Business helping people around the world to live a freer life, to avoid taxes. So one of the sales, our Genaka sale says taxation is theft. That's like the main motto of the anarcho-capitalist like me. That's also why it's in black and yellow. Taxation is theft. And the other one, liberty or death, because it's also an essential slogan. We want to experience life and we don't want to be locked down in our cabins. I think we lived up to that motto in the last couple of weeks.
How does your personal work function while you are on the boat?
I am actually quite productive since I'm on the boat, because now I don't travel that much anymore. I have everything available. I can just wake up, open my laptop, still use internet. I mean, I have good internet basically everywhere when we are near the coast over LTE. I also have satellite internet when we are on sail. That's not so good, but that was sufficient to answer some emails and to produce some content offline. So I would say on a boat I can work even better than on a typical jet set lifestyle.
How did you like the Atlantic crossing with the SYS and this crew?
Yeah, it was a nice Atlantic crossing, the first one on a small boat like this. I didn't have so many crossings before. Did a small crossing from Ibiza to mainland Spain. I did a bit larger one from mainland Spain to the Canaries, then a bit bigger one to the Cape Verdes, but this now was the largest one. 11 days we took from Cabo Verde to Fernando de Noronha in Brazil, then another 2 days here to the mainland. I really liked it. It was amazing. First week, yeah, very sad, we missed the dolphins. No dolphins appeared, but we got it back double and triple in the Bay of Fernando de Noronha. And other than that, we had a great crew. They cared a lot for the boat and me. We had a lot of fun playing a lot of things. I remember our werewolf sessions in the middle of the full moon night, crossing the 6,000 meter deep Atlantic and many other stuff. So I'm very grateful all these people from Germany, Austria, Bolivia joined, Italy not to forget, and I think we had a great time the last couple of weeks.
What is your vision for the SYS?
I already explained what we want to do with the SYS, exploring the world, different areas, and of course we want to do many other things with this boat. Mainly spread the ideas of liberty with this boat. That's why we have this crazy sails and this crazy crew. But also, of course, to explain many people around the world about sailing, and to invite many people, to encourage them to do their own thing, to buy their own boat, to get them into this lifestyle, which is very independent, very self-sufficient, very liberty-minded, and I think that's an important thing.
What is your dream sponsor or partner for this or another boat?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, whom I like as a sponsor for my boat. I mean, I like Elon Musk, for example. He would be a great sponsor. He has a lot of money. He has lots of nice batteries, so we can do a very self-sufficient catamaran. He also likes to fly to Mars, so we can get a rocket boost and then not even sail around the world, even fly to other planets. I think a spaceship, SYS would be a nice idea as well.
How do your next travel plans look like?
I'm very happy that we made it to Brazil. I will actually come back to Brazil very shortly, but now I look forward to a couple of weeks of traveling in my old kind of lifestyle. So I'm just going to Panama for a day to do some stuff with my residency. And I'm very much looking forward to a week of traveling in Costa Rica. It's a beautiful country, very green, lots of nature, lots of relaxation there for us. Visiting many friends in Costa Rica and then after in Mexico as well. Going back to Paraguay and then finally back to Brazil to the SYS further down south near Rio de Janeiro, and then we will have lots of nice sailing, lots of beautiful islands, and experience Brazil more for 1-2 months before I return to Europe for the summer.
Thank you for the interview and your time.
Thank you, Justus.